Are you tired of the non-stop hustle and grind? Well, welcome to Life in Business, the podcast for business owners who want success without sacrificing life. I'm Libby Langley, your host, award-winning, no BS, straight-talking business coach, Amazon best-selling author, and the queen of easy business. Join me to learn simple and practical strategies for growing your business, your profits, and your confidence, and having fun too. Here's this week's episode. Hello, welcome to another episode of Life in Business. Libby Langley here, in your ears. Always enjoy being in your ears. So thank you for joining me again today. Appreciate it. Now, today, let's talk manifestation. So if you want something, you just manifest it, right? You put it out to the universe. You say, universe, I really want this thing. And then the universe provides. Yes? I mean, no, just no, okay? So there are, it's one of the things that I really don't like about the coaching industry at all, particularly the Instagram coaching industry, right? There's a lot of talk of manifestation. There's a lot of talk of, being your higher self and making things happen and all of this. And it just really makes me want to just tell them all to just F off, right? Because manifestation doesn't happen without the groundwork, okay? Manifestation is when things become reality, yeah? When things happen. Super cool. So in some ways, every single thing is manifestation. So this podcast, I manifested this podcast episode by creating it. But yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell manifestation. And I'm not saying that you don't put the vibes out there about the things that you want. Absolutely do that, but that ain't enough, right? I fully intend to put the vibes out there to the universe. Come on, universe, listen. Come on, universe, that I want to win the lottery this week, please. So, yeah. And, I don't buy a ticket, so it ain't going to happen, but I've put it out to the universe. So what if it did? Doesn't make any sense, okay? So I like to keep things real. I like to keep things straightforward. I like to tell you practical things that you can actually do to help you move your business forward. So can you just manifest it? No. But also, yes. So let me talk you through the process. Okay. Now, the way to manifest something is to get out there and do it, okay? And get out there and make it happen. What the coaches on Instagram miss out is kind of the fact that it does require some work and some effort. And I think it's quite damaging to people in business, particularly people like you, probably, like me, who work on their own, work alone, spend a lot of time alone, and therefore, kind of are a bit more susceptible and vulnerable. Let's just say what it is, right? Because we spend a lot of time on our own. There might be doubt that creeps in. There might be questions. We might do some doom scrolling through social media. We see someone who is promising us magic and ways to, maybe join their manifestation program that's going to help us do have all the things that we want in the world. And so we spend, 500 quid, $5,000 on their program. And sure enough, we still don't have the thing that we want because it's not really how things work. Okay. And if any of this stuff, absolutely, if any of this stuff, if you're a spiritual person and any of this stuff makes you feel better and good about yourself, then that is amazing. And I don't say anything against that whatsoever. But nothing's going to happen unless you're extremely lucky or you've done the work to make it happen. Yeah? So, I mean, people do win the lottery, right? But more people don't. Significantly more people don't. Because it's a lottery. Literally a lottery. It's just pure luck, okay? So rather than sitting around waiting for things to happen and your dream life to materialise, how about having a word with the universe and then getting on and doing it, right? I think that that's perhaps a more pragmatic way to actually get what you want. But let me break it down into steps for you of what actually needs to happen in order for stuff to happen, right? Okay. So you need to do some work. First and foremost, absolutely, you need to do some work. Yeah. It's extremely unlikely that anything that you want to happen will happen without you taking some steps towards it. And they're not necessarily the most direct steps either, but it is about taking steps. So the first thing to think about is what is it that you actually want, right? You want a better life. You want a better car. It's like you've got to be more specific than that, okay? You've got to think exactly about what it is that you want. And also one thing actually that I've noticed is that when people talk about manifesting stuff, it's often kind of material stuff, which I find a bit weird because putting something out to the universe is a really kind of spiritual thing to do and seems a bit incongruent with material things. Anyway, that's just kind of an aside observation. But you'll see people, you'll still see the kind of, the Instagram coaches talking about how they manifested a flight upgrade or manifested a hotel upgrade or something. And it's like, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily, it's just luck, isn't it? A lot of that, or because you're part of the rewards program and it's part of your upgrade. Do you understand what I mean? It's not manifesting is used as a kind of new word for coincidence and groundwork on stuff and made to look a bit like magic. And I don't think that that's sustainable in terms of growing a business to kind of rely on things like that. Yeah, have that spirituality in with you in your heart, but also get some shit done. Okay, so you need to set yourself a really specific goal. What is it actually that you want? What is the thing that you want to manifest? If it is, let's talk about material stuff. If it is a new car, then what is the car that you want? How much does that car cost? How are you going to get the money to buy that? Yeah, it's kind of as simple as that, really, thinking about what needs to be done. But if your goal is not a material thing and is a complete and utter change of life, so you want to, you're knackered and you just want to work less, you want to manifest a better life for yourself, great, that's an amazing goal. But what does it actually mean to you? So what are the tangibles? Because this is where the magic does happen. Okay, you can't just say that you want to have a different life, because what does that mean? How are you going to know when you've got there? How are you going to know what steps that you need to take to get towards it? And if you want to manifest it via the universe, how is the universe going to know what you need it to be? Okay, so you need to be kind of really specific about what you want. So for example, it could be that at the moment you're knackered, you're working really hard, you're finding yourself doing 12-hour days, your family's grumbling that you're on your phone all the time, and you want that to change. Okay, super. That's a kind of objective. But then you need to put some measurables on it, something kind of tangible onto that. And so if you said, I want to work 10 till 3, Monday to Wednesday, and I want to earn the same as I do now or more, and I want to have achieved this by this time next year. Well, great, because that is tangible, measurable, you're going to know whether you've achieved that or not. And also, really, really importantly, you're going to be able to know what you're doing each and every moment of each and every day is helping you get towards that goal. Yeah? Because you've set some measurables there. And, you put it out to the universe. Once you say these things kind of out loud, even if only out loud to yourself, it becomes more real already. And you start thinking about things slightly differently. So, you'll be aware of this. Conscious bias, it's called. And if you go back to cars, if you say, oh, I'm going to get that, I don't know, whatever, BMW, and I really want a red one, then you'll notice that you're seeing red BMWs everywhere, and you take that as a sign and all of this. But actually, it's called conscious bias. It just means that your brain is more tuned into that. And also Bader-Meinhof syndrome. Bader-Meinhof is, if you want to Google it, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, it's really interesting stuff. But that's why our brain becomes more aware of something because we've talked about it or we've said it out loud. The same way that if you've had a conversation about something and then you start seeing adverts for it on your phone, your brain does the same thing. Okay, your brain just kind of remembers that and then is able to just pick these things out. And that is kind of one of the core fundamentals of manifesting something, of making something happen, is because you've said it, because you've put, you've put specifics to it, you're much more able to see that it is possible and that how you need to get there or the path that you need to take. Yeah. So then what you do, you've set your goal, you've put your specifics onto it, then you need to just start doing the work and you need to take action steps to get you towards it. And it is really important that you put some kind of time or, distance on these things, because if you said, I want to work, right, at the moment I'm working 12-hour days, 5 days a week. I want to work 10 till 3. What's that, 5 hours? Yeah, 5 or 6 hours a day, 3 days a week by the weekend. It's not going to happen. I mean, it just isn't going to happen. And it's such an unrealistic goal that you've set yourself that you'll never achieve it, that you'll get fed up, that you'll think the universe hates you and you'll never be able to kind of manifest or achieve anything, right? But if you are realistic about it and stuff like this, I mean, it takes time because there is infrastructure that needs to change. So saying by this time next year, then that's it's much more likely to actually happen, okay? And one of the really key things is you could work 10 till 3 Monday to Wednesday by this weekend, but your earnings might change significantly, drop, because you can just stop doing half the work that you're doing, right? Ta-da! Suddenly working less. So the point of adding in you want to earn the same as you are now or more means that you look at things in a different way, okay? Because anyone can just work less. We can all just say, I'm not working anymore. Okay, I'm working less. Yay, goal achieved. But no, not goal achieved, because you've got to be really specific about these things. So if that's your objective and that's your goal, then you can start to take some action steps. And they'll be small. And they will be small, and there will be hundreds of them, quite possibly. But everything that you do, once you're focused on what you want to achieve, you will be able to know that every single thing that you're doing is towards this particular goal. And it might be that you buy in, you work with someone. You work with someone who's going to get you there, or you buy a program that's going to teach you the skills that you need. You work with a coach or something. Or it might be that you say no to an awful lot of stuff that you're doing that actually you can see how that doesn't fit in with what you actually want. It might be that you outsource some stuff. It might be that you raise all your prices. There's lots of different things that you can tweak in your business to help you get towards your goal. And this is the stuff, this is my bread and butter, right? This is the stuff that I help my clients with all the time. So if you want to talk to me, then get me on Instagram or LinkedIn at Libby Langley, and we can talk about that. But this kind of conscious bias of is this helping me to get to my goal is absolutely the epitome of manifestation, right? It's the power lies with you, for sure. And so every action that you take, it needs to be a conscious action, but it can only be a conscious action once you've determined what the thing is that you need to be conscious of. So you're not going to be seeing red BMWs everywhere until you say, I really want a red BMW, right? Yeah, and you try that. You're going to be seeing them everywhere now. I am too. But I go outside and I'm like, oh my God, the whole world is just full of red BMWs. But it does make a difference. It absolutely does make a difference. And there are certain things that you can do in order to kind of expedite the process. And one thing is certainly working with a coach or working with somebody who's going to support you. But even just saying this stuff out loud, getting some accountability from people that you know on social media, telling your friends or family or business buddies or whoever you have in your support network that this is what you want to achieve is going to make you more likely to achieve it. Don't think for 1 minute, though, that this stuff will just happen without you putting in this effort. It just won't. This is the thing that really, really does bother me about the online coaching world and the Instagram people. I just can't feel comfortable at all with the fact that people are out there saying, you just need to believe it will happen and it'll happen. That helps because believing in it and having a positive attitude and it helps for sure, but actually having a plan, deciding what you want, breaking it down into steps and doing one tiny thing every day is going to get you to where you want to go a million times more quickly than if you just hope and wish and click your red heels together, like Dorothy in Kansas, and expect something to happen. So I've got a little challenge for you, I guess, really, to help you with this. And if you have 2 goals, which I know is just polarizing, but go with me. If you have 2 goals that are quite similar, and one you go full manifest mode on, and you just put it out to the universe and that's what you want, yeah? And the second one is you take the Libby approach and you put some measurables on it and you take lots of little steps. I want to know which goal you reach first. I mean, I can probably put some money on it, but okay, let's talk about you want £1 million. Let's do that as a scenario. You want £1 million, right? And so you can have £1 million, and so you could buy a lottery ticket. Practical action, yes, but you're still just kind of waiting to manifest it, waiting for it to happen. And then the other approach to it would be that, right, how am I going to make £1 million? Okay, let me think about ways that I can do that. I can sell more stuff. I could sell my house and buy lots of little houses and rent them all out and invest the money. And I could get a really well-paid job. I could marry someone rich. There are lots of practical ways that you can actually manifest that money rather than just wishing for it. And I really hope that you take this in the spirit it's intended. Absolutely not intended to be in any way derogatory to any spirituality or belief at all. It's just to say to you that a lot of what you see on Instagram and a lot of the coaching industry is utter bollocks and quite damaging, and you'll invest in programs that are rubbish and don't help you at all. And the best thing you can do is to follow those 3 steps that I've given you of setting a goal, putting some absolutely concrete measurables and specifics to it, and then doing some bloody work that's going to move you forward to that. And that is the pure and simple way that you are going to manifest what you want for your life. And oh my goodness, I want you to manifest that. I want you to have everything that you have ever dreamed of. And I'm sorry to be such a buzz killer, but it ain't going to happen unless you put in the effort. It just isn't. Oh my God, I just wish that it was different. I wish it was different. I wish that everything that we wanted and everything we dreamed about just happened. But this isn't a fairy tale. This is real life. I know, I'm so sad. I feel so sad saying all this to you. I wish life was different. But you have to work towards the goal that you want. And actually, arguably, all the sweeter for that, because it's something you've built for yourself. It's something that you want. And then it's something that you've built for yourself, and it's something that you have magically created for yourself because you did it. And that's just an absolutely glorious, glorious thing. I want to just do a caveat to all of this that I've said as well, because it doesn't need to be hard work, okay? I've talked a lot about putting in the work, but that's not about you grafting continuously. So the example that I used was, if you're doing 12-hour days now, 5 days a week, and you want to do 10 till 3, Monday to Wednesday, that's a real kind of shift in mentality and mindset and everything. And so that's going to take a lot of effort, and actually making that shift in yourself, in your mindset, is one of the hardest things that you'll do. It's okay to do practical stuff and say, right, okay, so I'm going to outsource all this stuff and I don't have to do it anymore. Great, practical solution. But actually changing your mindset from busyness like that and doing everything to getting someone else to do it can be the hardest thing that you do. So working through this whole process, working on yourself and being kind to yourself and giving yourself the grace and this kind of self-congratulatory messages that you can give yourself for actually making these changes and going through this process to do stuff differently, that needs to happen too, right? Because we are our own best cheerleaders, and we are our only cheerleaders some of the time, because we're eating, sleeping, breathing, living all of this stuff. So everything that you do and every change that you make and every manifestation you're going through, every single thing that you're wanting to manifest, you need to be kind to yourself and give yourself a big dose of love as well. Because everything can be solved by practicality, right? I'm a firm believer in that. However, you're still a human. You still have a soul that needs to be nourished and nurtured. You need to be happy. So don't ever lose sight of that in your manifestation of a fabulous new life process. Just felt that I needed to add that final thought there to bring everything together, and so that you don't lose the essence of you or work too hard push yourself too hard in striving for what you want. There's got to be a balance here, because it's got to be sustainable and you've got to be happy. Okay? And sustainable business and happy business is absolutely what I am here for. So yay for you going out and getting that. Now, thanks for listening today. Go put some positive messages out for the universe, and then go get some shit done as well. So I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Thank you for listening to Life in Business. Please make sure that you subscribe or follow so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you enjoyed today's show, please leave a review, as it helps others to find the podcast and spread the word that there's an easier way to do business. If you want to chat with me about today's episode or suggest a topic for the future, I would love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram @Libby Langley. See you next week.